So it was 21 years ago when we were working with a professor at Brown University. He said, why don't you come up to Providence? Then a man, Stan Goldstein, who was running CVS Pharmacy, he's the founder, said, come on to Providence, small state, you guys can do good stuff. So Elliot and I came up to Providence. We got jobs at Brown University, and then the Commissioner of Education, Peter McWalters, says, will you guys start a school for us and do it differently? Just go for it. And I remember asking Peter, can we do it like we want? And he said, yeah, and he's been great. So it's been Stanley, Peter, and CVS. Can you guys come up here for a second? Give them a hand. These are the founding grandfathers. Stanley, I just want to thank you for believing in us and convincing us to come here, and CVS supporting us all those years. All right? Okay. Give Stan a hand.
All right, Stan.
Okay.
All I want to say is thank all of you out here for your support. I think Andrew hit it on the head. This is more than a school. It really is not a movement necessarily, but clearly more. It's a better way of educating kids, keeping them interested, and the success is here. Thank you all for your support.
Right. And Stanley, since I see you're wearing sneakers, Gabrielle made your own size 11. Woo! There you are. I am the Met. Thank you, Stan.
You need them.
You need them. And John is taking over as the CVS liaison. So, John, I know you just had some dental work. You don't have to say much, but thank you for continuing on and supporting us.
I'm so impressed with this school, the teachers, the students, the passion. CVS is a proud sponsor of the Met. Congratulations, Dennis, and happy anniversary. Thank you.
And now the commissioner from a million years ago, who was the person that stood up from us and brought us in, Peter McWalters.
Very good.
Right,
Thank
Peter.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
I was there along with people like Fred Libet and Paul Crowley, Deanna's husband, and I want to give great credit to the leadership at that time that was willing to take this risk. And it's funny, when Dennis describes the conversation with Stanley that day, it really wasn't do anything you want. I think the most incredible part of this news, and actually I think the governor referenced it very well and the mayor reinforced it. This has been a theme of how you deal with children that is as old as these men are. We agreed at that time that we were going to have student engagement as the measure of effectiveness, completion high school, college readiness, entrepreneurial behavior, a school culture of concern and commitment and collegial responsibility. And there's very, very few alternative programs that 20 years later can draw a through line and still have the absolute soul of the program whole and intact. And that is a credit to this community. And even to I was around when we had the discussion about building this campus. And I hope you've all noticed that this is an open campus to an open community that is part of a city's renewal. Everything about this school has been completely well thought through, absolutely student focused, and it's totally dependent on the quality of the advisories, the family connections, and the commitments by the LTIs and the internships so that these children have access to real world components of learning. I couldn't be any prouder of any program that I've ever been associated with when it comes to student engagement, school culture, school completion, college readiness, and the idea that when you're done here, you have learned to be your own self-directed learner. Congratulations, Dennis and Elliot, and Stanley for starting us off that way.
Stay here for a second. So that's the old commissioner. We even brought the new commissioner here, right. Ken Wagner, and they haven't met, so come on up. This is like dating game. And Ken Wagner's been great. He's just been here under a year, has spoke very highly of our work. Ken Wagner, Peter McWalters. All right, enough of that. Now you can say something.
So it's interesting with Dennis. Dennis and I just met over the summer, but in a way we met 40 years ago. Because this idea did not just begin here with the Met School. This idea actually began with a young college professor at Stony Brook, Long Island, who created a school called the Shore and Whiting River Middle School in the mid-'70s, 40 years ago. And I had the fortune of coming to that middle school 25 years later. In the early 2000s, I became the principal of the school that Dennis Littke founded in the mid-'70s. When I got into the school, I said, wow, what is going on here? Because this was a school that was founded on the same principles as the Met School. This was a school that was founded on the idea that kids will go farther if you take the kids seriously, you take their voices seriously, you engage them, and then you take them on a journey together. By the time I got there in the early 2000s, personalization had crashed headfirst into standards and assessment. So I came into a middle school that was grappling with, 15 years ago, grappling with the juxtaposition of what we do with personalization, what we do with standards and assessment. You know what? We're still struggling with that issue. Nobody's really figured it out. But the way that you got to figure it out, the only way you can move those two things forward is you have to engage the community. As the former commissioner mentioned, this campus is exactly what we need to aspire for in our educational system. This campus exudes inclusiveness, community empowerment. The people who have the power have to release the power and empower teachers, principals, families, and students to build the kind of schools that we need for not just these kids, but all kids. But we have a problem, because not only is it tough to keep schools like the Mets going, but the world is tough. The world that we're all going into is tough. It's brutal. It is not going to be accepting of kids who are not well prepared. The former commissioner mentioned college and career readiness. So as we move forward, not just looking back over the past 20 years, but the next 20 years, as other schools try to do what this school has been doing, we have to get back to the old middle school truism. It's about both relevance and rigor. Both relevance and rigor. It does us no good to feel good about ourselves if we are not also prepared for the brutal world that we're going to enter. So as we move into the next 20 years, I look forward to the Met School to continue to lead as all schools struggle to figure out that balance of both rigor and relevance. Thank you very much.
Congressman Cicilline in the House.
Good evening. It's great to be here with all of you to celebrate 20 years of the Met School. And in so many ways, Elliot and Dennis continue to be such incredible pioneers in the area of education. And the work that began here at the Met School is now being experienced by students all over the world. And they brought incredible innovation and great passion. And I see in the audience many of the early and wonderful and long-standing supporters of the Met School, like Dr. Peter McWalters and Stanley Goldstein and so many others who have seen the growth of this great place. But in addition to transforming the lives of so many young people and creating such a vibrant and exciting place to learn, it has really impacted education in so many places all over the world and served as such a model to really demonstrate what innovation in education can produce. So congratulations to everyone who's been a part of this. Congratulations to tonight's honorees. But most importantly, congratulations to Dennis and Elliot for their visionary leadership of this great place and for bringing the Met School to Rhode Island and being an example to the world of what education should be. So I have for you, because what good is a congressman without a citation? I have for you and Elliot a congressional proclamation recognizing the 20th anniversary of this extraordinary place and congratulating you.
Thank you. And Nancy has a present for you. Not a present, a commemorative award.
This was a lot of hard work over the last 20 years, so I just want to congratulate everybody. And it's just great to be back in Providence. Thank you so much.